All right, so today we're really going deep, diving into the world of Tradeweb.
hmm
This company, they're a major player in finance, and we're going to break down their journey using their annual reports from 2020 to 2023.
Yeah, you know what I find really interesting about Tradeweb is how their story kind of mirrors this massive shift we've seen in finance as a whole.
Right, like it wasn't that long ago, trading was all about yelling across crowded floors, and now it's all algorithms and fiber optic cable.
Exactly. And Tradeweb's right there in the thick of it, leading the charge.
Yeah, they've really exploded onto the scene.
For sure.
Think about it. 1998, they're this tiny startup trying to convince these old school bond traders that computers are the future. Then boom, 2021 rolls around, and they hit a trillion in average daily trading volume.
It's mind-boggling. And the thing is, it's not a fluke, you know? The pandemic definitely accelerated things, forced everyone online.
Right, everyone had to adapt.
But Tradeweb was already poised to capitalize on that. They'd been building towards this for years.
It's like they were playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. And their big thing, their philosophy, seems to be all about making connections, right? They call it connecting the dots.
Yeah, they're like the matchmakers of finance. They bring together all these different pockets of liquidity, different markets that would never have interacted before.
So, like, give me a concrete example.
Yeah.
How does this connecting the dots actually play out in the real world?
Okay, so let's say you're managing a pension fund, right? You need to diversify, find new places to invest. Tradeweb comes in, and suddenly you have access to the Chinese bond market, a whole new world of opportunities that were previously out of reach.
Okay, so they're opening doors,
Yeah.
but who are the people walking through these doors? Who are the main players in the Tradeweb ecosystem?
Good question. It's mainly two groups. You've got your institutional clients, think pension funds, asset managers, the big players with deep pockets.
The heavy hitters?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have the wholesale clients. These are more like your intermediaries, your dealers who are facilitating the trades.
So Tradeweb's created a platform that caters to both ends of the spectrum.
Precisely. That's part of what makes them so successful. They've got this incredible reach across the entire financial landscape.
Okay, so we've got this platform, right? It's connecting all these players.
Right.
But how do they actually make money from all this?
Right. It's all about the financials. Let's take a peek at their revenue.
Yeah, let's see those numbers.
Back in 2020, they were at $893 million.
Not bad.
But fast forward to 2023, it's $1.34 billion.
Wow, that's a massive jump. What about their trading volume?
Same story. They started at $838 billion in 2020.
Okay.
And by 2023, they were hitting $1.44 trillion.
Trillion with a T. Okay, so big numbers, but where is it all coming from? What are their main sources of revenue?
So a big chunk of it, their bread and butter, is rates.
Right, makes sense. That's the core stuff.
Exactly. Government bonds, interest rate swaps. It's the backbone.
So that's the foundation, but what else are they building on top of that?
They've also got a really strong credit business.
Corporate bonds, that kind of thing.
Yeah, credit derivatives, all that. And we can't forget about money markets.
Right.
Yeah.
Repurchase agreements, CDs, that's another piece of the pie.
So they've got their fingers in a lot of pies.
Yeah.
But are they actually doing well in these areas? Or are they just spreading themselves too thin?
Oh, they're not just participating, they're winning. Especially in global swaps and global credit, they're grabbing market share left and right.
So they're really establishing themselves as leaders in these spaces.
Absolutely. They're not just keeping up, they're setting the pace.
Okay, so they're doing well in their established markets,
Right.
but they're also not afraid to explore new territory,
Right.
like their push into the Chinese bond market.
Exactly. That was a huge move. The Chinese economy is massive.
Huge potential there.
And their bond market is only getting bigger. Tradeweb saw the opportunity and went for it.
Tell me about this Bond Connect thing. I've been hearing a lot about it.
So Bond Connect is all about building bridges.
Okay.
It connects global investors with China's bond market.
And they launched this CIBM Direct platform.
Yeah, that's specifically for trading Chinese bonds. And get this, they even facilitated the first southbound Bond Connect transactions.
Now, for those of us who don't speak fluent finance, what does that actually mean?
It means they've opened the door for Chinese investors to access overseas bond markets for the first time.
Wow, that's huge.
It's a whole new world of possibilities. Imagine the capital that could flow through those channels.
So they're not just riding the wave, they're shaping the future of the market.
Exactly. They're not just reacting, they're innovating.
And speaking of innovation, let's talk tech. What are they doing on the technology front?
They're all about creating tools that make trading faster, cheaper, and safer. They've got this thing called swap compression.
Swap compression. Sounds intense.
It's actually pretty simple. Think of it like decluttering your finances.
Okay.
It helps you consolidate those complex interest rate swaps, reduce your risk, and save money on fees.
So it's like a financial spring cleaning.
Exactly. And then there's portfolio trading with AEX. That's where AI comes in.
Ooh, fancy. Tell me more.
So imagine you want to buy or sell a bunch of bonds at once.
Okay.
AIX is like having 1,000 traders working for you simultaneously.
Well,
It scans the market, finds the best prices, and executes your trades with lightning speed.
so it's like having a superpowered trading assistant in your pocket.
Exactly. It takes the emotion out of trading and maximizes your efficiency. And then there's net spotting.
Okay, I'm intrigued. This sounds like some next-level stuff.
It's all about streamlining the connection between Tradeweb's credit and treasury markets. It lets you automatically hedge your bond trades with treasuries.
So less risk, more automation.
Exactly. It simplifies a process that used to be very manual and time-consuming.
Okay, so it sounds like they're firing on all cylinders, expanding, innovating, making money.
They're definitely on a roll.
But it can't all be sunshine and rainbows, right? There have to be challenges, risks they face along the way.
Of course, every business has its hurdles. One of the biggest for any financial company is regulation.
It's always changing, right? Like trying to hit a moving target.
Exactly, and the stakes are high. Brexit was a prime example of that. They had to scramble to adapt.
How do they handle that whole situation?
They had to get creative. They ended up setting up a new subsidiary in the Netherlands to maintain their access to European markets.
Talk about a logistical headache.
It was a mad dash, but they pulled it off. But Brexit was just one example.
Right.
The SEC has also been taking a closer look at non-bank liquidity providers, like Tradeweb.
And how does that impact them?
Well, it could mean new regulations, more scrutiny of their operations.
So they're always walking a tightrope.
It comes with the territory in the financial world. It's a wild ride for sure, but Tradeweb seems to be navigating it all pretty well.
They're definitely holding their own.
But the bigger question is, what does all this mean for individual investors like you?
Right, right.
We've looked at the numbers, the technology, the global landscape.
We've connected the dots.
Exactly. So now the question is, how does Tradeweb's story impact your own investment decisions?
That's the million-dollar question. It's one thing to understand how a company works, but how do we actually apply that knowledge?
Well, think about it this way. As Tradeweb grows, as they innovate, they're shaping the very fabric of the financial markets.
Okay, yeah.
So understanding their journey, their challenges, their successes.
It gives us a glimpse into the future.
Exactly. And that can be incredibly valuable when you're trying to navigate the complexities of the market.
It's like having a crystal ball, or at least a really good set of binoculars.
Huh. That's a good way to put it. And that's what we've tried to do here today, give you the tools to make sense of it all.
We've given you the pieces of the puzzle.
Now it's up to you to put them together.
To see the bigger picture. And we'd love to hear your thoughts. What are your takeaways from all of this?
Head over to social media, send us an email. Let's keep this conversation going.
Because the deep dive never really ends, does it? There's always something new to learn, always another layer to uncover.
That's the beauty of it.
Well, on that note, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Tradeweb.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.